Something in your car is bleeding. Right now, on every road. 4 tires on your car. 1 tree, 1 cut, and the sap runs white. It hardens in the sun, becomes elastic. The Mesoamericans discovered it 3,000 years ago. They made balls, they made shoes. But for 3,000 years, nobody found a use, because it melted in heat and cracked in cold. Then in 1839, a man named Charles Goodyear spilled sulfur on rubber, and it changed. Vulcanization. The rubber became permanent, waterproof, elastic. And then came the bicycle, then the automobile, then the airplane, and the world needed rubber, desperately. And it only grew in one place, Hevea brasiliensis, the rubber tree. Brazil controlled the supply, the price soared, and the British Empire wanted its own. It took 10 million hands to build the rubber industry. Some of those hands were cut off to prove the bullets weren't wasted. This is the story of rubber. In 1876, a British explorer named Henry Wickham arrived in the Brazilian Amazon with a plan and a leather satchel. He collected 70,000 seeds from Hevea brasiliensis in broad daylight, using local workers. Nobody stopped him. He declared them academic specimens at customs. The Brazilians assumed the seeds were dead and let them through. The seeds arrived at Kew Gardens in London. Only 2,700 germinated out of 70,000. It was enough. Seedlings were shipped to Ceylon, Malaya, Singapore. Within 30 years, British plantations would produce more rubber than the entire Amazon. Wickham was knighted in 1920, the man who stole their future. But before the plantations could mature, before Malaya could compete, the world needed rubber now. In 1885, King Leopold II of Belgium claimed an area of Central Africa, 85 times the size of his own country, as his personal property. He told the world he was bringing civilization, Christianity, humanitarianism. The Berlin Conference believed him. Whether Leopold planned the violence from the start or stumbled into it is still debated. What is not debated is what happened next. In 1891, Leopold declared all vacant land his property and turned the Congo into a forced labor camp. Every village was given a rubber target. Failure to meet it was not punishable by fine, it was punishable by death. The Congo rubber wasn't like Brazilian rubber. It came from wild vines, not trees. It had to be stripped. The workers slashed the vines and smeared the latex on their own bodies. When it hardened, they scraped it off, and it took the hair with it. Leopold's private army enforced the quotas. 19,000 soldiers, most recruited from other parts of Africa. To prevent soldiers from wasting ammunition, the officers required proof. 1 bullet, 1 hand. Wives and children were taken hostage, held until the men returned with enough rubber. Some never returned at all. The rubber revenue transformed Leopold into one of Europe's wealthiest men, 18 million francs a year. He built palaces, parks, a royal greenhouse, all of it funded at gunpoint. Meanwhile, in Peru, a baron named Julio Cesar Arana, doing the same to the Bora, the Witoto, the Andoke. Between those peoples, over 40,000 killed for rubber profits. In 1900, a Liverpool shipping clerk named E.D. Morel noticed something strange about the Congo ships. Ships arrived loaded with rubber and ivory. They left carrying only guns. Morel quit his job and began a campaign. Books, speeches, smuggled photographs. The British government sent Roger Casement, a diplomat, to investigate. He'd already been to the Putumayo. Casement's report was devastating. Villages destroyed, populations decimated, systematic terror. In 1908, under international pressure, Belgium took control of the Congo, from Leopold. Leopold never set foot in the Congo, not once. He ran it from Brussels like a corporation. Historians estimate between 1 and 10 million dead. The range tells you how little anyone counted. The rubber industry didn't create the violence. It created the demand. The violence was the supply chain. Joseph Conrad traveled up the Congo River in 1890 and wrote about what he saw. By 1910, British plantations in Southeast Asia produced rubber faster, cheaper, without the violence. Amazon's rubber was undercut. The price collapsed. The cities it built emptied overnight. Henry Ford tried to grow his own rubber, a town in the Amazon called Fordlândia. It failed catastrophically. The rubber trees wouldn't grow in neat rows. Microcyclus uli destroyed them all. The blight has never crossed the ocean. If it does, the global rubber supply collapses. These plantations exist because Wickham stole the seeds, because the violence made rubber worth industrializing. Synthetic rubber was invented in the Second World War, when Japan cut off the Southeast Asian supply. But it's not as good. Natural rubber is still roughly half of all rubber produced worldwide. In April 2024, Colombia issued a formal apology for the rubber atrocities. 112 years. Belgium has never apologized. Leopold statues still stand in Brussels. Right now, 1.4 billion cars roll on tires, made from the sap of a tree that bleeds white. 5.6 billion tires a year, each one needing roughly 3 liters of natural latex. Microcyclus ulei is still confined to South America. 70% of the world's supply disappears. No aircraft lands without it. No hospital operates without it. The modern world cannot function without rubber. Every gram of it still comes from a diagonal cut, identical to the one Wickham found in 1876. The only difference is who does the cutting and what word we use for it. 90% of the world's natural rubber, from descendants of the seeds Wickham smuggled out. The seed was stolen. The Podcat. The object is silent. The history is not. Subscribe.